Joining us now, Bertram van Munster, the executive producer, the co-creator with his wife of the amazing race, now into its 32nd season. Bert, great to see you. Thank you again for joining us.
Thank you.
It's so good to see you. First off, how are you and Elise doing? How's the whole family?
We're doing really good. We're doing really good. I mean, it's not easy to stay home, you know. We're so active, but you know, it's all Zoom call, which is also very frustrating. But
you were always, the last time I saw you, we were at some reception and you were headed out the next day. I don't even know which country, because you're always headed to a country. And you were...
Well, yeah, I think I went to Vladivostok or something, to Russia.
And now everything at a standstill. First, let us talk about this 32nd season, which was put together, taped, filmed a while back. How far back?
In 2018.
So in 2018, you filmed it and edited. Everything was done and in the can by 2019.
Yes, it was good to go.
So, which is that how long it usually takes? I mean, is that the production normally?
Usually it takes us about half a year to do it, to put the whole thing together. And so yeah, no, I mean, it takes about 4 months of scouting. I have to write the series up. I have to put it on the wall. We visualize the whole thing so everybody can understand what we're doing. The whole pre-production process takes about four months, including casting, 4 or 5 months, and then we shoot it.
I remember
the shooting time is about 20 to 22 days.
And I remember the very first time we talked, and this was 32 episodes ago or somewhere in there.
20 years ago.
Yeah. And you said, you know, we're building up to a staff worldwide, internationally, of about 2,000 people. That's kind of what you have, isn't it?
That's what happens, yeah. So we travel with my personal staff, is about 60 to 80 people. They travel with me around the world, producers, field producers, cameraman, soundman, Phil, everybody comes along with us on this ride. And then in every country that we operate in, we hire about between 180 and 250 people, depending on how complex it is.
Okay, we will get to this season and what we can expect, and you're going to give us a little bit of a preview. But first, what has happened with your program and with other reality programs like yours once COVID hit? What did you do, and how did you do it?
Well, what I did was I got a call from a couple of countries, from Austria and from Vietnam and from South America, and I put in some calls and I said, you know what, there's this disease going around. It's called COVID, and this doesn't feel right. And and I said, this feels really, really dangerous. I had no real information. It was February 28th. I said, you know what? We shouldn't do the show. It's too dangerous. It's too dangerous. People said, what? What are you talking about? I called the network. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. I was in the Arctic Circle in northern Sweden with about 80 of my people, and we were ready to shoot that morning. And I called the network. I said, this is too dangerous. This is something really fundamentally ominous going on and very wrong going on. I would suggest we stop it. They said, well, let's talk about it. And they called me back an hour later and they said, you're absolutely right. For the good of the production, of the people and everybody that's involved and going around the world, we should stop it. We agree with you. So that was fantastic. So we were the first one in Hollywood to stop a big major production. And within 48 hours, everybody was home.
Like that. You said, everybody come on back.
Everybody went home, and everybody wanted to go home because they're all very, very savvy world travelers, you know, the people that work with me. So they all knew this was the right decision.
You already had the 2018 production taped in the can, ready
in the can. Yeah.
Is there another season already done?
No.
Okay, so now you really have to look, as I would say, we're in, for you, when there is a post-pandemic or a new normal, however that's going to play itself out. How are you thinking? What are you thinking about now when you do return?
I'm talking with the network, what we're going to do, how we're going to do it. We have a plan. We always have a plan, but for now we're on hold, obviously.
And first and foremost in your mind, when you say you have a plan, Uh, how does it work internationally? Because this show is based on running around the world.
Exactly. Well, it's got to be safe everywhere. Some areas are really cleaning up very nicely. Asia is many countries in Asia are COVID free. But you don't take any risks. It's just not worth it. It's, at the end of the day, it's a television show. You
Absolutely.
don't have to,
So you may have to produce the show around the countries that are safest. Does that make sense?
yeah, but getting on airplanes, etc., etc. Although they do their very best to keep it all nice and clean, but if you get on an airplane, and you fly from here to New York, you have about 800 contact points. So that 800 contact points is a lot of danger. Is a lot of risk you take.
Now,
So
of all the people I know, you probably have traveled more than anybody I know. When was the last time you were on a plane?
on February 28th,
That was it. So you're not going either. You're staying away right now.
I am not going anywhere. I think it's very dangerous. I think it's very ominous, and I don't know how it's being handled. I don't know what to believe. I believe that it's a dangerous disease with 210,000 dead people. Unfortunately, horrendously unbelievable. Some of the people that we know, a lot of people that we know have gotten the disease and said they wouldn't wish this on their worst enemy. So no, we're not going anywhere.
At what point, not talking about the show now, talking about you, at what point would you say, yeah, I'm gonna take a chance? At a vaccine point, at the numbers are down point? What would make you say, okay, I'm gonna travel?
Why it would have to be really, it would have to be almost gone. The disease has to be gone, and yeah, I mean, this is a last minute decision. This is not something I can't look in the future. The future so far looks pretty rough.
Well, let's look at the present. Let's look at the season that's about it's underway basically for you, and it starts off here in Los Angeles, ironically at the Hollywood Bowl, doesn't it?
At the Hollywood Bowl, we started the race. Yeah.
And give me a little bit of a preview of what you can tell us. I always run that question with you on what you can tell us and what's safe to tell us.
Well, I can tell you a couple of locations, a couple of places. We flew from the Hollywood Bowl right to Trinidad and Tobago. Did a spectacular show there, a really fantastic show. And from Trinidad, we went to Colombia. And from Colombia, we went to the Amazon. And in the Amazon, we have an amazing show. I mean, really unique. I don't think anybody's ever gotten this kind of access, in the middle of the jungle. Logistically very challenging.
Yeah. And this time you've got some real athletes from the NFL for one.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have people from all walks of life, but also full of life, you know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of opinions. We got siblings, we got NFL players, we got, people are going to be very, very excited to see our selection.
Volleyball players. I mean, we really do. Which begs the question, I've asked you this before. There's $1 million prize that hangs in the balance, okay?
Yeah.
What is it that gets these teams of two motivated? Is it the $1 million? Is it a quest? Is it a combination of both? What have you found over the years?
I found over the years that people that want to go for the money only don't really succeed. Oddly enough, it's almost like a reflection on life. The most of them do it for the exclusivity of an experience. It's a unique experience, and they have to have some guts to do it. But most people do it for the race itself. By the time they get towards the finish line and they can smell the money, then they start liking the money. But usually not that much.
Would you back up for those people who may have never seen The Amazing Race? Take us back 20 years, 2 decades, to how you and Elise came up with the concept.
Well, we were talking about another show, a new show we were going to produce, and Elise said to me, "How about teams of 2, 6 or 7 or 8 teams of 2 people that run around the world, use all kinds of modes of transportation, donkeys, airplanes, bicycles, motorcycles, airplanes, what have you, sailboats, and the first one makes it back to the United States of America gets $1 million." That's how it started. I said, that's not a bad idea. So we pitched it around, and of course we did a lot of work on the show. Of course, we prepped 12 episodes, And we pitched it around to various networks. Everybody liked it, but wasn't sure we could pull it off because 20 years ago, the technology and everything was so different. And it was so alien. And everybody always said, no, no overseas shooting. Americans don't like overseas stuff. Don't do it, don't do it. Anyway, so we sold it to CBS. They bought it in the room, basically. And somebody had a great vision, obviously. There was a group of people that said, we like this very much, go do it. And we had a limited budget. But what I had done, I had set up a global infrastructure for a different show I did prior to that. For a global infrastructure for facilitators and people that can help us support a project like this. So that's what we did. So I had a bunch of great cameramen and some producers that worked with me that had been around the world with me a couple of times, so not on different shows. And they all got the message. They all said, we love this idea. And with those guys and women, we pulled it off. And we made it, I remember we made it as far as Paris, and everybody was exhausted and couldn't, because we thought we could go. That's not possible. It's physically impossible. I think it was up for over 100 hours straight. And people got very edgy, and Phil got very sick, was in bed, and oh my God.
Phil's hosted all that time. That's right.
Yeah. So, and in those days, we used to go 35 days on the road. So Phil recovered, and we got him back on do stand-ups in Paris, etc., etc. But I tell you, it was the first time was very, very difficult. And a lot of people said I couldn't pull it off. And I knew I could pull it off. I knew it. I was convinced of it. And
how many teams at first? How many teams
at
that time? How many teams did you have at that point?
22.
You did?
22. Yeah. Of 11 of 2. So, and we used to do 13 seasons, 13 episodes. So, and then we figured it out how to do it. And then we went to Tunisia, and then we went across from Tunisia, went to Italy, et cetera, et cetera. Now, it was an incredible experience. And we had success with it. People really looked that it's a fantastic brand new idea. And the rest is history. And 15 Emmys later.
15 Emmys, 81 nominations. A heck of a lot of nominations. Was there one or two big challenges, a threat, if you will, that you found that you had to overcome, or at least that you encountered?
Well, no. In the beginning, nobody knew who we were. So it was a little harder, to get the okay to go film somewhere. But I personally have a reputation around the globe in many, many countries that I'm not there to hurt anybody or be controversial or criticize. I'm not doing the news, any of this stuff. So I got a lot done, and my producer that worked with me also had a great deal of international knowledge and knew how to be diplomatic and kind and be a guest in the country and not dominate the scene. So no, it was timing-wise, it was very, very difficult because not everybody understood what we were trying to do. But it was exhausting, particularly in the beginning. But now I found out we figured out a system to make this work more harmoniously, and it's easier technologically. We used to use walkie-talkies, now we use cell phones, but we can look at each other. And we have global coverage for everything. So
and how physically fit? How physically fit do these contestants need to be? How physically fit have they been?
Well, I look when we cast, I look for people that are from regular people from all walks of life that are in good physical and good mental condition. That's all you need to do, and then you can win.
Really?
You don't need to have you don't have to be a super athlete. You don't have to have muscles like this. I don't have them, so I don't ask them from anybody else. So you need to have your act together in your head, and you have to have the enthusiasm. You have to be in decent physical condition. You have to be able to run and walk and talk and go and do your thing.
You have partners, relationships, husbands and wives. Have you seen some explosions with families and with husbands and wives as they move on in this?
Very much so, including in my own life with Elise, my partner. So it's the ultimate way of not getting along. I'm saying when you have a team, one says I want to go to the left, the other one says to the right, inevitably. And you see a lot of it. Some people abuse, some people have been abusive, but most of the people are actually good sports about it. You know, some
So,
people get carried away, but
so
that's it.
with COVID continuing, we don't know where and when that's going to, you know, come to an end. As I said, we'll probably be in a new normal. What are you doing in an alternative universe? Different kind of shows. What things are you working on right now that you
Oh
can?
yeah, we have different shows. We have different shows in production right now. We're prepping a show right now. We finished one for National Geographic Society. It was a big global show, but just before the pandemic. So, but we're still finalizing that show. So yeah, no, we have several shows in the works. But you know, we have to adhere to the studio's rules and regulations, and because it's still dangerous to go out on the set and have a lot of people there.
And are you working on any kind of any concepts that are in a studio inside as opposed to travel?
Yes, we are.
And that so there is that component or possible outlook for you as well. Finally, just pique our interest. What, you know, this is a time people are looking to television. What can the viewer look forward to as episode by episode rolls by in The Amazing Race?
Well, it's almost 2 years ago, so it's hard to remember.
That's true.
But I can tell you that we have some fantastic episodes, really original. We shot in Kazakhstan. We went back there for a second time. We have a battle scene in Kazakhstan that is just fantastic. I mean, what we did in Paris is really unique. I only can say that I'm very proud of it, and it's very unique. And hopefully we can get another Emmy nomination next year.
By the way, Bert, if you had to, could you compete in if they said, you know, let's you and Elise get out there one season?
Yeah, I could compete, but I don't know if I could win.
Okay, well, just to me, competing in that race is just amazing. It is amazing, it really is, because it takes a lot of stamina, both physically and up here. It really does.
Well, you know, I produce and direct the show too. So I've gone around the world more than 32 times. I've gone around the world only 70 or 80 times. I produce it, I lay it out, and I direct the show. I'm there every show, every shot that's being made is being discussed and is being laid out by us.
And final question, reality television. Right now, what do you see, you know, in the global sense? What kinds of changes do you see that are going to occur from your standpoint?
Well, I hope we get away from the Zoom shows. You know, I mean, it's a little, it makes it very hard, and the quality isn't that great, et cetera, et cetera. But, you know, there's room for everything. There's room for everybody. Do I like to do something that are uplifting? Yes. Do I like to see some things that have honor and respect for each other, et cetera, et cetera? Yeah, absolutely. Do I like to have a good laugh? More than anybody. I think the future of reality television, I don't know what it's going to be like, but it will change. It will definitely change because of the technology, et cetera, et cetera. Will people change? I don't know.
And I see what you're saying, because what we're doing, Zoom is really worked perfectly in many, many instances. Once you get into the production portion, it's very different, and you miss the bells and the whistles that you've had.
Yeah, and you know, there's two things about it. There's something cold about it, because you can't shake hands and you can't do any of that. But it also gives other people the opportunity to be more themselves in a weird way, you know.
Yeah.
So when you're not together in the same room, so they give it their own little twist. But there's something cold about it. There's no question about it. I couldn't do a lot of people shoot remote, you know. The director is in LA. The shoot takes place in Hong Kong or in Shanghai, and they give Zoom. Things are going to change. Things are going to be different. And sitting on an airplane is not fun. I mean, no matter how luxurious they make it for you, it's an exhausting endeavor. I like takeoff and I like landing, and the 18 hours in between I couldn't care less for, because it's a terrible waste of time.
I hear you. Wednesday nights, are we firm on Wednesday nights for this season?
I think we're firm on Wednesday nights, yeah.
Wednesday nights, it's the 32nd season, 15-time Emmy Award winner. I remember many of the seasons. you coming back and talking with us. It's The Amazing Race, Bert. Thank you so much, Bert van Munster.
Okay.
Continued success. Look forward to talking to you again. Thanks again, Bert.
Very kind. Thank you, Ross.